Hi there, Elliot here. Kind of going along with what we talked about last week, wanted to think again about sort of images of the mind, ways to make sense of or to visually, experientially kind of get a better sense of what's going on inside of you. So last week we talked a bit about kind of the idea of walking through your neighborhood and sort of your ability to breathe in and out being like continuing to walk as houses, as commercial areas, as different things come and go. Your breath kind of keeps you going. So, again, I wanted to talk about sort of the impermanence of things, the things that things kind of show up and then they go away, and that everything is sort of that way. Sometimes when our emotions show up, our thoughts show up, they can feel very stuck, and then we can kind of focus on them, and we can actually kind of perpetuate them or make them stay longer than they might actually need to be there. So this week, we're going to do a meditation kind of thinking about our emotions and thoughts are feeling as the weather. So please feel free to check below for more information. We'll get started. Allow yourself a moment to get grounded in your chair, on the floor, wherever you're seated. Feel yourself taking on the posture that you've been practicing. Noticing where you are making contact with the floor, where you're making contact with the chair. Just allowing that awareness to bring you into this moment out of whatever is going on in your mind for just a moment. And shift your attention a bit to your chest as you begin to breathe in and out, in and out. Noticing what it feels like as you breathe in, and noticing the sensation as you breathe out. Now for this meditation, I'd like you to keep breathing, keep focusing on your breath, steady in and out. If at any point you feel really disconnected from what I'm saying or from this moment, just return again to the breath. I want you to imagine some place out in the open air that is sort of a place of peace or of connection for you. Maybe it's nature, seated on a hill somewhere. Maybe it's seated on the coast in front of water. Maybe it's on top of a roof, or some place in an urban area, a garden that gives you some peace. Go ahead and imagine that however you're seated right now, you are grounding yourself in that place. Notice for a moment what's around you, how it feels to be in a place of peace and open air. And let that calm, let a sense of being able to slow down catch up with you in this space. Now notice where your mind has gone, where it has wandered, and bring it back to your breath. a way to imagine sort of what's going on here is when you lose track of your breath, it's almost like you lift up off of the ground in the image, in the place that you are. And our goal in this time is to stay as grounded as we can, even when things around us are changing. So keep coming back to that breath, keep grounding yourself. Now, in your mind's eye, I want you to imagine looking up and noticing what the weather is. Here in the Seattle, kind of Western Washington area, it is gray a lot. But we also get really beautiful days, and sometimes lately we've been getting thunderstorms or fog. Sometimes I've found that when we're having sort of big emotions, maybe less so thoughts, but more so emotions, the weather can be an excellent metaphor for what we're feeling. It can help us notice and create some space between our experience of being seated and breathing and being grounded, and also noticing the emotions that are kind of moving across the sky in front of us. So take note of what comes to your mind right away. Try to label that weather pattern with a certain emotion. It might be very specific, or it might be sort of general. For example, sometimes when there's sort of a feeling of dullness or kind of maybe depression, it's almost like there's a very low hanging cloud cover when I do this meditation for myself. And as I keep breathing, I'm able to notice and name that those clouds are there for this moment. And I am somewhat separate from them. They affect me, they do affect my overall day, but they also come and go. Sometimes they're here longer than I want them to be, or I have a hard time with them, or I wake up and I'm upset that they are here. But if we return to our breath and find ourselves grounded, we can take care of ourselves, we can hold ourselves, and allow the weather to keep changing, to keep blowing over. Sometimes we're angry or feel overwhelmed by some very strong emotion. And it's almost like as we sit and breathe, a thunderstorm or a strong wind has come and is blowing. Excuse me. The temptation can be to go with that weather pattern, to allow it to sort of suck us up into the clouds, into the rain, the wind, the lightning. And we can feel sort of out of control. So we instead notice what it is. We notice the angry storm, or we notice the sort of overwhelming wind blowing. And we keep breathing in and out, in and out. We might have temptation to want to try to change the weather, to figure out why it is the way it is. This isn't a bad impulse, but especially with the weather is such a great metaphor to show us that sometimes these feelings, these emotions are beyond our ability to control, are beyond our ability to make sense of. And instead, the best thing we can do is notice them, be aware of them, and let them come and go with open hand. Now I want you to imagine that the weather has changed again, and it is a beautiful Seattle summer day. You feel light, open, not rushed. The day is long. Everything looks different around you when the sun shines and the cloud cover lifts. We might be tempted to try to float off the ground again and hold this one in place and control it. Make it so that summer doesn't end. But we can't do that either, and that will exhaust us. So instead we breathe in, we breathe out, and we enjoy the moment for as long as it may be here for us. Sometimes it's just a break in the clouds, and still we can enjoy that moment for a couple of breaths. Sometimes it's days or even months. When the seasons are in balance, all of the emotions get to show up in the time that is right for them. Take another deep breath in and set an intention for yourself to try and notice your emotions, the way you feel in your body, as a type of weather, coming and going. In and out. Allowing the bell to bring you back to the room. Thank you so much. If you have any more questions, our website is linked below. Have a great day.